Have you ever wanted a combination of every game you've ever played? Like role-playing, exploration, economics, single-player space combat, everything in an open world.
It sounds like a dream come true, man.
Well, this game has tried to combine all of that into one. Hey guys, this is Brax.
And I'm Sir Jeffers.
And this is Starsector. Honestly, when I first got into the game, I thought that it was going to be a lot simpler than it actually was. It does give you the ability to create your character, and shortly after that, I tried to just start playing the game, and after 10 minutes I realized I needed to start completely over and start doing some tutorials, because this thing gets complicated really fast.
How so?
Well, there's just so much to do. Basically, you have different tasks and missions that you do, but there's a combat system that you have to familiarize yourself with. And your job is sort of like Mass Effect on steroids, where you just cruise around the galaxy and get resources and complete missions and things like that. But the thing for me was, you have to keep track of how many people you have on board your ship, you have to keep track of supplies, fuel, the condition of your ships, how large your fleet is, which ship you're going to use as your command center, etc, etc, etc. Like, there is just a lot of things going on. This is for hardcore gamers, no doubt.
I think it sounds really, really awesome, actually, because I'm more of a fan of games like that, where you control large fleets and you have to send people out, scout, search, destroy. We need food, we need fuel, we need all this. That sounds amazing to me. But I can see what you mean so far. It already looks pretty crazy.
It is. You'll notice that there are different tabs for character, fleet, refit, the crew, the cargo. There's a map. Intel's where all of your information for missions and communications comes from. And also, you have these nice little abilities that you can assign 1 through 9, I think. And each one of those abilities does different things. Like, you might have a transponder that allows for communication, but it also means that your enemies will be able to spot you when you're flying through open space, and you really don't want that to happen. Other things might be boosters. There are other things that you can turn on that makes your ship less visible and more sneaky, like you can go into a stealth mode sort of thing. You can send out like homing beacons to figure out where things are that you should salvage or scavenge from. So many abilities, so many things to do. It's just really, really amazing.
It does. It actually sounds really odd. It sounds like they put a lot of thought into this game. Cause just imagine all the work just to go into something as like a beacon. Just imagine that alone. It sounds like a lot of work went behind this, and it does sound like something I would definitely enjoy personally. I mean, I'm more of an RTS guy, but you know, it sounds like a pretty good deal. What is the combat like?
The combat was, for me, one of the most boring parts, to be completely honest, but it is complicated in itself. At the beginning of each combat cycle, you deploy your ships, and I only had 2 because I was at the beginning of the game. But you deploy those ships, and then you command them. You can set waypoints. You can tell them to attack the enemy, to disengage, to go full assault, to retreat. Lots of different stuff going on there, too, as far as strategy goes. You can also bring in reinforcements in the middle of a battle if you decide that you want to go ahead. Like, say you're losing the battle, but you decide, hey, I really want to win this because I'm invested in it now. You can bring in reinforcements if you have those at the ready, but it's really about strategy and knowing how much you need to spend on any given battle to get the results that you want. So very strategic.
I see. I'm kind of like the combat that's being shown. I can definitely see it. What are these larger ships going off right now? Like I'm seeing like an area that seems to be not exactly mapped out, and I'm seeing like, you know, your guys moving about. But I'm actually almost confused on what's going on. I see these big ships warping around everywhere in like this faded gray area.
In this particular mission, I was supposed to just destroy the 2 enemies, and that's what I did. The larger ship was actually helping, I think, but then in another instance, it seemed as if there were 2 larger ships that were fighting each other. Not sure if that was on my behalf or not, but it does distinguish whether or not they are enemies with the red or orange square that you can see, and that's the way that you tell who I need to be attacking. As far as the other larger ships, I just prayed that they weren't going to attack me, because I really didn't know.
Oh man, this sounds pretty neat though. I really gotta remember that game we used to play when I was younger. It has such a similar vibe to it, because it was also in space and you would command fleets of ships, so
I'll be honest, I would not recommend this game to anyone who isn't a strong reader, because you have to read an incredible amount, and you have to understand what's being told to you, and not only comprehend it, but be able to remember it for 4 or 5 minutes at a time at some points. So if you don't have good comprehension comprehension skills, and this I would not recommend this to kids, really. I wouldn't. I mean, maybe like teenagers would be intelligent enough to grasp what's going on and to keep up with everything, but like small children, there's no way I would recommend it. Not because it's like mature in nature or adult content, it's just I don't think little kids have the brain power to play this game.
It doesn't look like it. It does definitely seem complicated. I mean, even I'm a little off-put by it, just a little bit, because there's a lot of info on. There's a lot of info alone just on screen with all your different tabs, and every one of those tabs has their own menus to them. It seems like there is a lot of information to go around and a lot of reading.
It's really intimidating at first, but once you get the hang of it and you start understanding how to lay in waypoints and to get where you want to go on the map, you feel really, really awesome once you start finishing the missions and making some progress. You feel like a boss, because you are an absolute boss in this game. You run all kinds of things. You can level yourself up. There's a little bit of RPG elements going on there to improve your character, and it's just steadily doing something. You're always thinking, you're always having to follow some sort of instruction, and that changes a bit after you get through the tutorial section and you're given more like open world freedom, and at that point you can just cruise around and pick up missions or communicate with whoever you want to, really. And in that aspect, it's more like an open world RPG, and I thought that was super duper cool.
Right, that actually sounds really awesome. Kind of gives me a Star Trek feel almost.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like you're your own star captain. Like I was Jean-Luc Picard flying around in a virtual atmosphere. It's really, really cool. Just lots and lots of stuff you need to pay attention to and learn, whether it be the economy, the combat system, understanding how to make sure you have supplies and people on deck, or understanding how to read through the intel and keep up with what's going on. Just lots of paying attention, man. But if you can do that and you can put yourself into it and really feel like, hey, I'm a part of this game right now and I do own this ship, this is my fleet, and you get into it in that way, then it's super fun.
It sounds just about right. So what can we expect to pay for this game?
So right now, this is still in development. You can pre-order it for $15, and that's going to give you a 15 to 25% discount off the final game once it comes out in full release. So right now, if you want to pay for the early access, you get the alpha builds and you get a discounted price off of the full version. I don't think that's a bad deal. At $15, I would be willing to pay that for it if you want to devote a lot of time into playing it. That's the kicker here. This isn't a game that you're going to pick up lightly. Like if you buy this game, you better be willing to play this game, because you really have to play it a lot.
I can see it. It was $15 for what I see. I can definitely see it. It seems like if I can get invested into this kind of game, because I'm a reader, I love story games. If I can get into this kind of game with all the reading that I'd have to do and all the knowledge, I could probably see myself paying that. But you said that they're going to add 15 or 20% onto it whenever the game is in full release, which I can see if they add more content for sure. It's just, wow, that I'd probably jump on it now if anybody out there is actually going to be interested in this game, because that does seem like a heck of a deal.
Yeah, I would recommend it for that price, but keep in mind that it isn't on Steam right now. It's through its own independent development cycle thing they have going on. But if you guys are interested in it, be sure to check it out. That is Starsector. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to watch another one of our videos. This has been Brex.
And I'm Sir Jeffers.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye-bye.